My name is Tina Spangler of TLC Barrel Horse Training in Groveland, Florida. A customer had written me an email question asking about their barrel horse being afraid of everything, ropes and being tied at the trailer, and now it's affecting them in the saddle as well. But they said they can't even touch them with their lead rope without the horse getting upset. So what I want to talk to you about today is desensitizing horses. A lot of people skip the groundwork, and it's really important to the overall well-being of your relationship with your horse. So every horse that comes in my barn gets a few days in the round pen. Some horses don't need but a day, but other horses may need a week. Sometimes more, just depending on how serious the situation is. But anyways, with that said, I've got some tools here that I'm going to desensitize a horse that is afraid of things touching them, things moving around them. Also, a horse that's afraid to tie. We're going to do this untied first, but then later when they're calm, we're going to do it tied as well. But we won't do it tied on a hard tie. We're going to use what I call the clip. And this clip you can buy online. There's many natural horsemanship clips out there, or tie rings they call them. And they're really easy to use. I like this one because it's got a clip. You can use it anywhere, on a wash rack, in a barn, in a horse trailer, on the outside of the horse trailer, in a round pen. Hook it to some twine in the arena. And if a horse does get scared, what happens here, and I'll show you, you want to put it in about a couple feet from the horse's halter and put it over the top. When it sits on this little metal piece, it's now set up to tie your horse, and you can clip it anywhere. Notice the tail, there's still another maybe 8 feet of rope here, 6 feet of rope. When you hook it, they can, if they get scared, they can get back 5 or 6 feet with no problem. And a lot of times a claustrophobic or scared horse, that's enough to settle them down. And also you won't hurt their neck or cause them any pain and give them a bad experience, saving on chiropractor bills and possibly a fear that might take months or years to get them over. So I like these for a horse that's overly fractious or sensitive. But first we're going to go ahead and start desensitizing her just with her lead rope. First place we're going to touch is all her big muscle groups. This mare is not afraid of the lead rope touching her on her muscle groups. So then I'm getting big muscles, so I'm going to go to her legs. She's not afraid of it on her legs or her stomach. Those are the vulnerable areas. You want to do those last. Now if she was moving, I'd hold the rope here and I'd bump her and I'd say whoa, while I continued, whoa, to throw the rope on her. And I'd only stop throwing the rope at her when she stood still and was okay with it. The place I know she is more concerned about strange things on her face is her head, but before I touch her head with this, I want to teach her a go down cue, a give to pressure cue. So I'm going to touch her on her pole and her nose, asking her to put her head down. She knows the cue, so now I know if a horse's head is beneath their withers, they're calmer than a horse with their head above their withers. So when I touch her with her lead rope, her reaction is going to be to put her head up, in which she does. Okay, she's a little worried about it. So I'm going to hold her nose, I'm going to touch her on the paw, and I'm going to ask her to put her head back down again. Always keeping myself a distance where I don't get a black eye, a busted nose. But I always want to just show it to her, touch her face. She's a little nervous about it. Put my hand back up here, ask her to give to the pressure. When she does, take it all away. Good girl. So once they get comfortable with that, you want to do it on both sides. You want to make sure your horse is desensitized on both sides. Say whoa, hold your rope about a foot or two from their halter. Rub them on their big muscle groups. You can throw the rope over their body. Again, if she was to move, I just bump her and say whoa, but she's not moving, she's fine. She's looking around. Being relaxed, licking and chewing is a good sign. Pay attention to them when you're throwing on your legs. You know, if she seems relaxed and happy, her head's down. And again, we're going to touch her rope on her face. If she keeps her head down, great. Notice I am holding her halter a little just to keep my face safe. The arm, I can push her away if she gets startled. Good girl. You just don't want them to throw their head into you because that would hurt. So rub it over here. She's not as concerned. She's more worried about her ears, so she moved. So it's all right. We're going to touch her again, and I'm going to ask her to give her nose again. Head down. Good. Good. Rock it a little bit till she lowers it. Good. So that's good. So we're just trying to desensitize her to things she uses every day. Okay? The next item we would use is the lunge whip. Holding the tail holding the tail, rub her neck, rub her body, rub her neck, rub her body. She doesn't mind it. Touch her feet, her stomach, her legs, as long as she's not moving. Again, holding the rope safely. I wasn't in a safe position, but where if she does move, you wouldn't get kicked or run over. You can control her head, which therefore will control her hip from kicking at you or anything, or stepping on you with her feet. Okay, and then once she's comfortable with that, throw the rope over the shoulder, the lunge line tail, throw it over the hip, throw it over the saddle. If she's comfortable with all that, then do it over her head. Okay, bang the ground. Very nice. So you're going to want to touch her again with everything all over the head, waiting for her head to come down. Just rub her. And again, waiting for her to give to pressure. If she doesn't want to give to pressure with the whip, ask her to come on down again. She's a little worried about this. So just be patient. Apply pressure, release. Good girl. She's more concerned about her head than anything else. Rock her head a little bit. Easy. Good girl. And all of this builds a really good trust and bond between a flight animal. Horses are flight animals, and if they get scared, their first instinct is to run away because they're fast, and that's how they escape bad situations, you know, being preyed upon and such. But their next instinct, if they can't get away, is to fight. And we've all seen a horse get in a bind, so never tie scary things to your horse because they will go through fences and hurt themselves. So desensitize your horse untied and without the object tied to the horse. Same with saddle pads, cinches. Throw it over them 100 times before you cinch it off hard because you want them to get used to these things. So again, we saw she wasn't afraid of me rubbing her all over with it. We're going to take it up a step like a roper's rope. Again, I should be standing, I should be standing at the shoulder. Standing at the shoulder, holding it near about a foot or two from her face, flipping it over, not hitting myself, just kidding. Anyways, go ahead and swing it both directions, banging in front of her, behind her. She's licking and chewing, doesn't bother at all, let her know good job. Do it on the other side, holding the rope again a couple feet from her lead rope. You can get your slack out of the way. You don't have to hold on to it all, as long as you have control here. Again, starting with throwing it over the body. If she's really scared, I just rub her with it first. You know, rubbing her, making her enjoy it. Then, after you throw it over the whole body, the shoulder, the back, the hip, then you could do the legs, rub it on her belly, on her feet, and then again, helicopter it overhead like a roper's rope, then bang it on the ground saying whoa, so that she doesn't panic or leave. If she does, just bump her and say whoa. Again, you're going to want to touch her face from this side because that's the only area she's been kind of concerned about. Start it easy, take it away. Touch her easy, take it away. Touch her easy, take it away. On the back of the pole is a scary place for her. Easy, take it away. Good girl. Easy. Her head's above her withers, so we're going to want to get that down again. So I'm going to try to touch her nose, touch her pole, and ask her to drop her head. She's a little worried because this sticks in her face about putting her head down, so it's taking a little longer. We're going to wait and ask. Good. Very nice. Always remove the pressure with the slightest give and let them know that's all you want. She's licking and chewing. She's okay with it. Alright, the next step is the roper's rope. You know, these barrel horses are not subject to ropers until they go to a rodeo, and a lot of times you have to warm up with the ropers and they're zinging these around. It startles our barrel horses because they're not desensitized to that noise. So again, you can start by touching her with the rope on her hip, her body. Her breathing just went up. I noticed that. She's a little bit concerned. She doesn't know ropes. It's been a while since I sacked her out with one, since she was probably 3 or 4, and she's 9 now. So it's good sometimes to go back to your basics and things that you've not done in a while. It's okay to go back and do them with them. So again, I'm going to ask her just to stand here while I open this rope up a little bit, and I'm going to swing it a bit, and I'm going to give her a little bit more room so I don't hit her with the whip, and I'm just going to swing it over my head. Pretty small rope, but just trying to get her used to it. Whoa, I'm going to turn myself away and just toss the rope, coil it back up, let her get used to that noise. I'd rather she gets used to the noise by me, who she trusts, than some ropers at a rodeo that she's like, you know, a little bit more stressed out about. So again, I'm just going to swing the rope around her a little bit overhead, try to not whack her in the head, and just throw my rope, hit the saddle, concerned her, but didn't bother her too bad. Good girl. Again, I'm going to try to set myself up here where I can need 3 arms today. Anyways, so just, this is what you need to do when you're desensitizing a horse. Get them used to things that you might come in contact with at events that you go to, situations. And then once they're used to all this, tie them up with a clip-it where they can't get hurt. And then, you know, when they're tied, you know, I'm just going to ground tie her there for now. When they're ground tied, then go ahead and take and, you know, say whoa to them and work all around them. We'll pretend she's tied, but she's ground tied. And work all around them and just wait for them to settle and get used to things. So I'm going to throw this rope out in front of her and let her get used to it. And then once I know she's okay with it on the ground, and touching her on both sides with it, I might carry it while I ride, and then get her used to it, and tie it to your saddle, or you could, and then that way if she did spook, you could just throw it to the ground and start over without getting yourself bucked off. But again, you don't want to tie things onto horns where they can cause you a wreck. If you were just sitting it on there and lunging her and it got in a bind, it could bounce off. That wouldn't be too bad. You just don't want to get it tangled up on her. So I try to get myself away from anything that's going to get her hurt or me hurt. So just keep safety in mind, and remember that horses learn by applying pressure, and when they deal with it, take it away. That's when they learn, when the pressure goes away, that hey, that wasn't too bad, and the reward is the pressure goes away. Alright, so thank you for the question, and I hope that helps you with your desensitizing your horse. And again, don't tie them until they're totally broke without it. Like now I would go ahead and hook her and go ahead and work around her, applying pressure, taking away, and that way she would learn to be tied up and deal with her fears. Because she is a claustrophobic horse, she's a very fractious horse, so she would rather flee, but if she gets too scared, she'll fight, and that's how she could get hurt. So it's my job as her owner to keep her safe and to get her broke to all the things that I'm going to throw at her in her life. Okay? Thank you very much.